Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be watching the semifinal match circled here between INVD Offender, better known as Hans, versus Quanzi, who took me out last round. So we'll see if Hans can play this a little better than I did. Quanzi is a very good player, it seems. After that round 3 stomping that I had. So very excited to see what happens here. It is a best of 3 and it is a late war. So we will finally get into the late war vehicles and infantry of Horten's. So stay tuned. Should be a very exciting best of 3 series here. All right, let's get on into it. So we have Hans, INVD Miracle Worker, playing as the Germans. Quanzi playing as the Americans. Very intriguing. We are playing on the Farmstead map. Looks like Hans went with the Defensive France doctrine. Quanzi playing as the Americans. What is he going? The irregular doctrine. Interesting. With an M3 Lee special tank. Cool. So we have not actually seen the Americans in the tournament yet. So this will be the first time that they make an appearance here. We'll stick to Hans's perspective for now. So he is in blue. Quanzi is in red. Looks like Hans has a very nice split going across the map here. He's got recon going out to the B point on the southwest here. And looks like he's going to get his guys up on this wall, which is going to give him a great line of sight into the point. And he's getting there very early as well because these guys are recon, so he is pushing up. He also ran one recon into the center point, and he does have a regular Grenadier squad, it looks like, going out to the northeast point on the hill. Quanzi has a guy or two heading towards the right, and then most of his guys are actually coming more towards what would be considered his home point, but Hans's recon just got here so quick. And they were absolutely able to get in position before I think Quanzi even made it to that center road. So very interesting. And he's also got another squad coming up as well at Volkstrom, with Quanzi just getting in his second squad too. What we see typically with the Americans is higher MP costs for the squads, and much larger squads aren't really the strongest, unfortunately. You would think they would because of their numbers, but as we can see, Hans is able to just kind of spam infantry so far, and he's pretty much wiped probably about 80% maybe of the initial squad that Quanzi brought out. And he's already reinforcing that northeast point as well. So he's already jumped out to a 2-0 cap. He's pushing back and forth with Quanzi on this point, but he's dwindling down those numbers very quickly now, so he is likely to cap it. And checking Fog of War, we do see that he sees the reinforcements coming in as well. And he does officially cap it, so he does have a 3-zone lead. He's got a bunch of guys out on Quanzi's flank as well because of these recons, and they do see the guy sprinting off in the distance. Quanzi's bringing up an M20 to counter. That 50 will shred that tier 1 infantry, but he's gonna lack infantry because of how expensive his squads are. But as we saw in the game against me, Quanzi loves the light vehicles, so this is almost kind of par for the course for what I'd expect, is utilizing a light vehicle from the Americans. One with the 50 is a great buy for sure. Looks like Hans has nothing that can really deal with the M20, and the infantry is now pushing as well. It looks like Hans is focused more on the right, but he's bringing up an AT section as we saw. Ooh, and the MG42 is actually taking out the vehicle crew on the M20. So it's already down to 1 crew from the APCR on the MG42 with the damage that it does. pretty crazy. He could take out that last crew if he pops up, because he is reloading. I don't think Hans knows, though, or he's busy microing elsewhere. Quanzi is going to bring in another squad. So at the 4-minute and 20-second mark, he's up to his third squad. The M20 did detract from that slightly, but we can really see kind of the difference in infantry numbers here. He does have, oh, vehicle crew. I was going to say another squad coming up, but it looks like that's a vehicle crew mark on the map. And Hans has full control over what would typically, like I said, be Quanzi's home point here. And he is ticking fast. We're already up to 682. Quanzi really needs to make a move here, but he has no infantry at the 5-minute mark other than what he just called in. And it is going to take a second to get up to that point. And it looks like Hans is bringing in the counter. Ooh, super cool, too. It's the Eunuch, captured French half-track with a pack on the back. Pack 97, 38. Very cool. Love seeing that French Vic. And it looks like Quanzi did bring in an M3A1. KD definitely in favor of Hans. And just confirming it is his doctrine buy. So I believe that is different from the typical regular doctrine for the US. So that is a Horton change. Looks like Quanzi did put some tank crew in the M20. And he's trying to make a push here, but he really doesn't have time to wait. The M3A1's back. Pack's getting into position. Flip back over to Hans's view. The M20 goes down to the Panzerschreck that he initially brought up. And the Eunuch is actually going in and just shredding here. They got a lot of this infantry. Quanzi does not have the M3 up yet. He is bringing it up, though. Ooh, but it actually goes down to a bazooka. Looks like Hans was going to move the pack up, but losing the half-track, he is nervous about the bazooka with the range. He does... both players see each other, because we are on Quanzi's point of view. Quanzi is getting the M3 out of there, although it is stopped. It's like Hans might be trying to take advantage of that and bring this thing over. And Quanzi did get another M20. He just doesn't have the infantry, as this is ticking up very quickly with a 2-to-1 cap, or 2-to-0 cap, technically still, in Hans's favor. This could be over. He's got to get into one of these other points. Because even if he caps that one on the hill, he's got no weight anywhere else. He's not going to be able to stop this, even with a 2-to-1 hold. Because he does push off Hans here. But Hans has 2 new squads. And Volkstrom and Panzer off bar again. And that will do it for game 1. Wow. Very shocking. Completely flipped. 35-32. I mean, KD-wise, very close. But we'll head on into game 2 and switch sides. And here we are. So, they decided to play on the same map. They did flip. Hans is now playing as the Soviets. Quanzi is playing as the Germans. We are looking at Hans's point of view. Currently, looks like he went... Ooh, TV Panther. Interesting. So this is a Lend-Lease doctrine. Very cool. Very cool seeing that. And Quanzi went... Offensive. Yeah, offensive. It's an offensive Tiger special tank. And he started off with a Panzer Pioneer squad. And now got a Recon squad coming in. And Hans is pushing out conscripts and an initial rifle section. Oh, and a Recon, actually. So Hans has already got 3 squads out compared to Quanzi's 2. Hans is going heavy into the cheaper infantry. Very interesting. I wouldn't normally recommend doing that because of how low health they are. They die quick, but obviously these recons are very fast. So Hans is getting PPSHs up on the wall before Quanzi can get there. He's getting into the center point. Quanzi is utilizing that flamethrower very well, though, to clear out a lot of these guys. Actually, he's really doing some work on Hans's numbers. He's been able to get up to the rock wall, but Hans does have quite a few guys there as well. Ooh, that nade just misses. But again, as we can see, just numbers on the minimap. Hans just bought another squad. Quanzi only has his initial squad left. And what, 4 guys out of that squad maybe, and then 1 recon that he sent out to the far right. That's going to have to contest with Hans's conscripts. And he just gets another squad out now. But Hans has another one. So Hans is just sticking with the cheap infantry and just overwhelming with numbers. And my God, it is working. I wonder if this is more of a HORTEN'S strategy maybe. As we can see, like, the squad is full of STGs that Quanzi brought in. So they're going to shred. But it's probably a very expensive squad. And he can't sustain the numbers. He's trying to push into this point where Hans has a couple guys, but he's got a recon squad and another rifle squad coming. He's sending out another conscript squad over to that northeast point, and he's just going to reinforce it with bodies. Cheap bodies that die quick, but just overwhelming with numbers. Quanzi's trying to get these SGGs up. He's trying to move up the MG42 gunners as well to start shredding these low health recons. He's able to dodge that nade. But Hans does have a 3-cap lead currently. And Quanzi's just playing with 1 squad right now, for the most part. He's busy microing over here. And he doesn't have anyone else coming out. Meanwhile, Hans is just continually reinforcing his points with infantry. I don't think we've seen so far Hans get a vehicle. This might even go back to the games against Smurf. I don't know if I've seen him take a vehicle. Very interesting tactics. Bringing out an AT rifle to counter any light Vics. And he's getting it out early with the 5-minute mark coming up. He does get a light Vic, though, looking at his units. He gets a T20, actually. So he's doing what Quanzi did to me by getting out a cheap light Vic. Quanzi is also bringing out the 221. So we saw this the first time when we played him. 221 spam. So he's going to get this up. But his infantry is just getting shredded, man. I would not have expected this from the low-tier infantry. By all means, if anyone is a little more knowledgeable about HORTEN'S, let me know. Light infantry, is that the tactic? Tier 1 infantry, just don't buy anything higher up? There's no need to. Certainly seems that way. Seems like tier 2, tier 3 is just not worth the cost of the MP. So Hans is just able to continually funnel in these cheap conscript squads, and I mean, they're all rifles, but he's just funneling them in, and I don't know if Quanzi's going to be able to decap this point. Let's see, so Hans went with an M3 Stuart, as we see it yet again in this game, and Quanzi went with the Panzer II. His infantry is taken to the walls. He is starting to decap. 80-wise, it's pretty even. We'll switch over to Quanzi for a second. So he could have gone with the B2, which I don't know if Hans would have had anything to really contest with that. Especially with these cheap squads. I probably would have gone with the B2. Panzer II is just rushing up. This is likely desynced. This is just firing into the wall. So I'm assuming it's probably further back on the hill. 221 is moving up. Hans is reacting with the M3. And he's just got so much infantry over here. And Quanzi has just ignored this point the entire time as well. And Hans has been able to get a recon marine squad into the building with higher cap weight. So he does go with a higher tier squad there, and they're just going to lay down and control that point now. Hans is bringing over the M3 to go for the 221 first. Quanzi is microing the Panzer II, so it's likely not there. Is the 221 desynced as well? It is. It's somewhere. It's in the Panzer II. Interesting. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, now it's over here. Okay. Strange. Bit of desync. The M3 does hit the 221 in the distance. It does go down. You can see there. Hans was pushing up some recons, but they get absolutely shredded. The M3 is now rushing back over. Quanzi was able to decap the center for a second. But with the M3 in there, it is going to boost up the cap weight. Ooh, misses with the Shrek. Just slightly. And Hans is bringing in a Dishka. He's probably going to bring it up onto the hill and just shred any infantry that go into the center. No real counters to the Stuart, unfortunately, here, other than infantry. And the Disc is actually just rolling right in and shredding the guys up on the wall here. As Hans is holding a 3-cap lead for the 9-minute mark. This could be over in 10 minutes. That would be crazy. 2 back-to-back games. Can't see that. Quanzi's going to pull something out of here. He's got some higher tier imps coming up. So hopefully he'll be able to stop the bleed shortly. Oh, but he's backing his guys off because of the T20 and Stuart. Ooh. All right, Panzer II is back further. Let's take a shot from the M3. Miss there. He's busy microing it. He's not microing his infantry. He's got to get them in. He's trying to rush up another squad. What he should have done is where the Panzer II is just kind of bugged. He should have put a Faust or a Shrek into the back of that building to open it up, so he could have just ran in there. That is a misplay. I always do that. Always recommend it. And that is going to cost him partially. Wow. 2 quick games from Hans. Very, very surprising, but he will move on to the finals. GG's to both players, and hope you guys enjoyed.